Morning, Shona. It is always so good to see you. And I'm super excited because you graduated last week. So it's like fresh. It's like, woo, we did it. And we get the celebrations out. In fact, bless her. Look at this. This is how organized I am. Thursday, she graduated last week, and this is ready to go to the post today, which has got her certificate in it so that she can go, yes, I did it. So Shona, for those who might be watching, or I might have sent this, video to them because they're actually they are now where you were. Where were you, or why on earth? Actually, how did we meet? Like, what was the gig? How did you end up hanging out with me? And what was it? What problem did you want to solve?
My brother had met with you, and you helped him, and he spoke highly of you. And then I had a situation where I struggled with the relationship with my in-laws, um, and it became quite overwhelming. I felt quite consumed with sort of how to navigate the relationship with them. And I realized that it was my problem, that I wasn't going to, that I had to, continue having a relationship with them. So I needed strategies and tools to sort of, to when mixing with them, and I wanted healthy family relationships. So I knew that I needed, as I said, a few strategies and tools. So then my brother recommended talking and meeting with you. So yeah.
And actually, I remember it was funny because you were the only person I caught up with while I was on holiday in Dunedin with my son. I was like, no, I know this lady's important. So I said to Scott, yeah, no, I'll catch up with her. And there I was on the sofa in Dunedin with my
Yes.
holiday. It was funny. I'd forgotten about that. Yeah. And, I know because obviously it was a brother, it was a family link that said, actually go have a chat with Sal, is that family is so important to you. So it's not that anything's untoward. It was just like, oh, things just aren't fitting together. And because family is so important, you wanted to make sure that everyone would fit together well, and fit together rather than being any kind of, uncomfortableness, I suppose. I'd forgotten. Gosh, I forget where we start. And so it's lovely to have that little bit of reflection. And so I suppose, what did you get out? Like what's been helpful for you? Or, what has been kind of, you talk about tools for the toolbox. What's been helpful for you? Or what have you learned?
I would say I've learned more about myself, and who I am, what I value, who I value, what my priority order is. I had my priority order a little bit out of order, but so I learned more about myself, and then also had more of an awareness of the in-laws and other, family members, and a new perspective. And I feel like my eyes and ears are open and I'm more aware. Um, I think that would be my main, just learn more about myself and have a new perspective. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's that when you change the way you see the world that you see changes. And so
Mm.
you're looking for the good, you're looking for the opportunities, you're looking for the connection. Whereas when I met you, things are, as you said, they were overwhelming, it got on top of you. And it wasn't that anybody was horrible, wasn't that anything was bad, but you were just like, oh my goodness, I can't, And because we can get in a doubt, just one little thing can get us into a downward spiral. And now that one little thing can take you the other way, which is super cool because you're like, no,
Mm.
got this is good. And you're right, knowing who you are and what you stand for and stand against, it just, like you're sitting here just so casually, like you're like, no, I've totally got this. Like, like you're relaxed. You're like, no, I know what I stand for. I know who I am. I know what I want. And there's no There's no argument in that. There's no battle in that. It's just a peace. It's just like, oh, I've got this. This is cool. And everything, has been, and from there. So interesting. That's where you started. You wanted a relationship, better relationships. And then you go, okay, now I know who I am. So what's been the outcome? What's been the result of learning a bit more about you, about your values, about your priorities, about how you think and process and others think and process? Because that, I think, was a bit of an eye opener. It was like, oh, I get that. I get that. That makes sense. So what's the outcome? What's the results been that have come out the other end for you?
Confidence, calmness,
Oh.
Growth, and I guess even though, it was my in-laws that I wanted to, learn tools to have a better healthy relationship with, I guess what I've learned also applies to other people and people that I'm going to meet in the future as well. And also now I have this new learning and knowledge. I can sort of guide and direct our children as well. Like it's kind of like I get it. Like I get it. Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, it is super cool.
And how's it affected your marriage? Because obviously we talk about relationships, and marriage is the most important relationship. And not that there was anything wrong in any shape of marriage. So I'm not like going, oh my goodness, that was, whatever. But how has it made any difference to your marriage?
Yes. Yeah, because I think it's that priority order thing, which I had a bit wasn't sort of in line, but yeah, I had more of an awareness.
Yeah.
And actually, my husband just said to me this morning, "Oh, when do you finish your course for Sally?" And I said, "Oh, actually, I've done my 8-week course." And I asked him, I was like, "Oh, have you seen like any changes?" He's like, "Yeah, I have seen, your approach to a few things that, you've got a different approach." And I said, "Oh, like with what?" And he said, like the way I've been supporting him in his current sort of work situation. And I was like, cool, like that's a win.
That is
Yeah.
a win. Hey,
Mm.
yay. And because actually, it's not just how we feel, it's how we make others feel. Because when we're
Mm.
sorted, then it literally, the ripple effect is to have healthy marriages. That's the goal. That's the number one relationship. And then from there, the children, and then the grandchildren, and then, like all grandparents, whatever. So that's yay. So I suppose if we thought about what you wanted at the beginning and where you were at the end, and actually we did do your scores a few days ago, so we know how much change. If you could rate yourself at the beginning as an overall score for people, and then an overall score of where we got to with what you wanted from the course, can you remember where we started and where we finished, or where you are now?
I think we started at like a 1.75.
Out of 10.
And then in the end, I think maybe a 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a massive, massive change. And I think, I look back like on reflection and I was like, oh, I was really bitter and twisted. Like I was in this quite unhealthy space, which
Yeah.
is not cool.
And it wasn't you. It's a beautiful lady. And that's the joy for me is it's, when we are in pickles or things are overwhelming or things have got on top of us, we're not behaving as we are, but we're sort of in response to what's going on. And so I think, yeah, I mean, your growth was massive, and it is for everyone, because what we do is we say, right, this is the problem, let's find the promise. And that's my job, is to deliver that. But it's like, you're right, like you were super stressed. That, I mean, it was just stressful. It was stressful, it was anxious, it was horrid. And thank goodness, no more. You are the weakest link. Goodbye. And so I love the fact that your husband has witnessed that. Like, he's seen that change in you, and he's like, oh, no, actually, I notice it. And men don't say much. generally speaking. So it must be quite good for him to have asked the question and for him to have noticed. Like, that's quite big. Yay. So where to from here? What's your kind of plans going forward? How are you feeling about your future? Because that's the key. The key is we've done this bit and that's fine, but what comes next? Because a lot of people do courses and then that's it. They've ticked the box. Done. But that's not how it works. It's now for you to put into practice what's ahead. So what's ahead for you and where to from here? And is it exciting or is it as dull as dishwater?
No, it is exciting. It's I guess putting into practice what I have learned, which is great because I've got it now, and I've also got all the, all our notes and everything, so it's always there. I can refer back to it. But yeah, I would say, yeah, life-changing because I've got it now. Yeah.
And you've got it. Cool. And it's like almost once you've got it, you can't unget it.
Exactly.
Once you've seen it, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Yes, I've got this. And all you've got to do now, and I know it sounds really easy, is just to walk it out. But as you flex any muscle, as you flex these muscles, it's like compound interest. The more you do of it, the more goodness you're going to get, the more opportunity you're going to get, the more you're going to feel, which because that's how we've worked the course. But so last question, just for anybody watching who's thinking, oh, do I do life coaching? I mean, life coaches are a little bit like cans of baked beans. We're all very different. What would you say to somebody, or who would you say that I'm for? Who would you say that actually, if you want faith-based coaching or you want whatever, what would you say to somebody who's thinking about coaching with me?
Do it. That's what I say. 100%. Like, I was just thinking, as much as my problem was my in-laws and wanting a healthy relationship with them and for my family, I could see how that sort of negative situation was like had a ripple effect on other relationships and just how toxic that is. Like it can really turn nasty. It can be not very good. So yeah, I think your coaching has been incredible and super helpful. So yeah, I would say do it, go for it.
Oh, bless you. Well, look, Shona, it's been great to catch up with you. And I look forward to kind of almost quarterly updates of seeing how you're getting on and how things are. No doubt I'll get that through your gorgeous brother too, because keeping an eye on you two and what you're up to is great. So I just wish you all the best and thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.